Hey guys, in this video I want to walk through how you would put together a pitch deck to show reputation management for selling this as part of HighLevel, GoHighLevel, for all you SaaS agencies out there. So one of the things that I leverage fiercely when I'm selling my software as a service is the reputation management portion and feature set of HighLevel. Now, I know that there's a whole bunch of augmentations that a lot of other organizations have done, but we're going to focus on Google being, the bulk of the review make up, about 80%, 90% of review management for small business is done through Google. So that's what we're going to focus on. And what I've done is I've built a really vanilla, generic pitch deck with no branding on it so that you can take it and do whatever you want with it and use it and sell more yourself. So let's dive in to the screen share and I'll step you through the ultimate pitch deck for reputation management. Rightio guys, so this is how I present the reputation management feature set in HighLevel. The slide deck has been created with no formatting, no fonts, so you can take it and run with it, right? Brand it for you. That's all about, that's what HighLevel is all about, right? White labeling and going forth and conquering the world, right? So I use a combination of decks and demos, right? The pitch deck is really to tell a story, and the way that this should flow in any sales pitch should really be about the micro and the macro, right? So you talk about the problems that exist for them in their business, and then articulate the macro effects that are happening that are going to impact them and that are impacting them. And then you tease the promised land, right? So that is the structure that I go with. I try to keep it to 10 slides. And of course, whenever I'm presenting to somebody, I say, look, it's 10 slides, and then they know how long they've got left. If they're counting the slides, once you're at slide 5, you can say we're halfway through, whatever. And it just sets the expectation that they're going to stay motivated and aware and alert with the presentation that you're looking at. So let's dive right in. So customer gets on the phone with me. I'm going to talk about our system. And in particular, I'm going to talk about the reputation management side of it. I also refer to reputation management as one component of voice of customer programs, right? So big companies do something called voice of customer programs, and they love to talk about voice of customer as driving advocacy. Now, driving advocacy usually is done through a method of net promoter score, or net promoter score is NPS. Now, that's a marketing metric that was invented. It's a proprietary metric. And usually it's a score, and I can't remember the exact way that it's worked out, but you take the detractors and the advocates and you meet somewhere in the middle. But what it's trying to do is, what is your score overall from both sides of the spectrum of people that are already advocates and the detractors. Now, with reputation management, you're looking at all of this from a psychological point of view, from consumer behavior, and how that impacts business is exactly the same as all those major voice of customer programs. So it's big business, but from a small business point of view, Google really is just running everything as reputation and reviews out of 5 stars, right? So essentially the same concepts apply. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So let's talk Google reviews. How does your reputation, how does that impact you as a business, right? And I'm talking specifically about Google. Let's have a look, right? So beyond present day, in search engine optimization land, lots of people that are very authoritative in this space have hinted that there is going to be a feature which will become a firm feature in Google search called search for nearby places find places through reviews, right? So whether they're taking a photo of something to search by, or whether they're searching for something nearby them in a map, and so on, a Google search will now, or at least there is speculation, that you'll see something like this screenshot that I've taken, right, which is find places through reviews. So this is a real thing. It's currently being tested by Google, right? Now, why would you want to show up, right? So this is giving people relevant search results, but showing people, those results basically broken down by their reviews, right? So if this becomes a firm feature, what does that mean for you and your business, right? It's massive. And what can you do to prepare for it? Well, you can do a lot. And look, there's a lot of free resources out there, so we're going to talk through those. And then we're going to talk about what my company can do for you through our systems. Right, so with Google, let's look at how they determine local ranking first, right? It's relevance, distance, prominence, right? What does that mean? Well, relevance, of course, is I'm searching for a barber. You are a barber, that is relevant to me, right? Then what is the proximity to my location? And then, of course, talks about prominence. Now, this is the bit that I want to highlight for you. Prominence refers to how well known it is. Now, how do they determine what is how well known? In true Google fashion, it's all algorithmically derived. The bit that I'm going to highlight there is that the review count and review score factor into local search ranking. Now, I think they underplay it a little bit here, because if they're releasing something that is showing results by reviews, the prominence is absolutely critical, right? So if you don't have a lot of reviews and you don't have a lot of positive reviews, you're not going to be showing up in the prominence ranking of how they work it out. And you're just going to get outplayed by everybody else that does, right? So positive reviews matter. Local SEO reviews, it matters, right? It's just absolutely, case is closed on that one. I don't think we ever have to argue that. And it's become even more relevant and important for small business, as we see. So let's go into the impact, the justification, right? So does anyone read reviews? Yes, absolutely. 98% of people occasionally read them, but 77% of consumers always look at the reviews, right? So, let's call that 8 out of every 10 potential customers are going to look at your reviews. That's a massive statistic, right? And who is holding all the cards when it comes to reviews? As you can probably imagine, it is Google, right? With 81%, right? And I think the exact figure over there is 73% back in, so now 2020. So there's other ones are coming up. But Google's, we're Pareto ruling this thing. It's 80-20 rule all the time, right? And there's some interesting stats there about the different platforms and what they're doing. But reviews as a method of marketing and being relevant in your market for discovery, customer acquisition is absolutely critical, predominantly in Google, right? Now, review management, it's the term of describing how to interact with both your advocates, your passives, and your detractors, right? So borrowing from Net Promoter Score terminology, essentially that's what a reviewer is doing. They're either leaving a positive review or a negative review, right? Now you need to be able to respond to the reviews, right? So 86% of customers that were surveyed in one of the surveys done by BigCommerce said that they were way more likely to buy from a brand that is responding to the reviews. Now, they want to see a breakup of both positive and negative, and they certainly want to see that the brand is engaging in responding quickly to negative reviews, right? Now, let's look at how these elements influence decision-making in online shoppers, right? Back in 2017, again, BigCommerce did a study, And like reviews is ranking like fifth as the most important element, right? Second to price, shipping costs, discount offers, and so on. Trustworthy reviews, right, is so far above where you rank in the search engine results, right? So when we talk about ranking, it's not enough to just pay to be number one, right? You might get a click through, but if you don't have the awareness and the reputation, it is driving such a large percentage of how people think about taking action through buying something from you. All right, what can we do? Well, there's plenty of free things. As per Google's usual business model, they are an advertising company, so they give everything away for free, and that's great for you. So they've got a lot of, got a lot of free resources. So if you go to Google Business Profile Marketing Kit, they give you things like posters and stickers and all sorts of stuff, right? So you can have a nice poster, shop front window. You can, from a digital side, animate and illustrate different reviews in a nice way, all throughout your Google Business Profile. So start there. Great. Now we provide a reputation dashboard. Now there is one click to integrate your Google My Business profile into our system. Literally one click. You authorize by logging into Google, choose the business, you're done. So if you didn't have to authorize it, it would literally be like no more than a single click. What is this going to allow you to do? Well, we're going to look at reputation as something you need to manage, but not something that you need to work in. You can just sit above and watch it all happen. So it's something that happens automatically. So we're going to give you things like KPI tracking. So we're going to have an invite goal quota that you want to try and hit per month. We're going to send you alerts and notifications when a negative review comes in so that you're responding quickly. You're also going to be aware of when positive reviews come in so that you can drive more advocacy through who your advocates are, through referral programs and so on. We're going to automatically be able to respond on different channels and request reviews. We're going to have sentiment analysis tracking. So over time, what is the sentiment towards your business? Are there people in your business that are affecting you negatively? I think about this with businesses that have services staff, where you might have, let's look at, say, gyms. 6 a.m. class is getting one coach, the midday class is getting another. And all of a sudden the sentiment starts being trending negative, right? And it's all pointing towards one person. Like, this is information that you can act on. It's absolutely critical and valuable to the business, right? So it's not just about how many new customers you get. It's all about the retention of the customers you already have. Listing consolidation, matching, right, through Yext. So all of the directory listings, instantaneously being upheld. On-demand review requests. So as someone's leaving the shop face-to-face, or if you're doing something online, you know that they're going to be an advocate, right? You can instantly send them a review request, right? Absolutely easy to manage, right? Now, what happens if you get fraudulent reviews? Well, you need to report them to Google. These happen all the time. And you can do this through Google. You can go on your profile, click reviews, blah, 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 blah. We've made it one click. And I've highlighted where that button is in our application, right? So you don't have to go out and navigate through Google My Business and a different profile every single time. Dispute this review, I should say. Click the button, you're done, right? One click. And that makes it super simple to make sure that all those fraudulent reviews aren't terrorizing your business. Now, if you get a negative review, we just saw all the evidence about responding quickly, right? So the quicker you respond, the better, right? 53% of customers expect a response to negative review within a week. That's crazy. So half of anybody that leaves a negative review is saying they need to respond to me. They need to answer what I'm asking for. So you need to be aware that a negative review exists, right? So we'll be able to send you alerts around any review and rating and saying like, you need to go and action this, right? Immediately. It is critical. It is important. And timing is of the essence. We give that control to you right now. So we talk about this in a way that's like, it's review request behavior, right? How do you want reviews to become part of your brand? And we give you the ability to add widgets to your website. How you want a review request to look via SMS or text. How do you want it to look on email? What are the colors that you want to use in that branding? And way more. And that's just part of the configuration options, part of the dashboard in reputation management. So let me show you just how deep we go, right? So I'll go into the demo and let's have a look, right? So let's just put my face over there. Reputation management, I've already logged in, right? And I'm just going to click on it one more time so it refreshes, right? And you can see, once I've got my review link, and I haven't integrated mine because I don't have a physical store, but here's my review link. Once that's in, I can then customize the review SMS. I can add different images all throughout here, and I'm going to get a preview of exactly what that looks like on a mobile device. Great, I can do that. I can also customize the review email. And this is what the subject, heading, and message is going to look like anytime I request a review, right? So I don't want to use this illuminous green, right, as the button. I want to change that to whatever you want. And then, of course, on different form factors, I'm going to get an idea of what that looks like as well. I've got the review widget, which sits on the website. And again, I've got a preview over here. I can use hexadecimal color codes to match my brand exactly. And this gives you the code to drop it straight onto your website. And of course, we can do that for you, is what you would say. So coming back to reputation dashboard, once I've configured everything around, how I want things to look, and maybe I just leave it, right? Maybe you do nothing, right? It can be completely automated, right? So it's going to show me as soon as I connect and talk about that one-click interface, all my average ratings are going to be here, my sentiment's going to be here, and so on and so on. Now, this works best when you're actually getting them connect for you. So I, instead of running this presentation and demo, me presenting to the customer, if I'm running this workshop, webinar, or presentation with someone who is in a trial, or I'm trying to upsell them to reputation management, you have them do this and say, well, nothing's appearing. Okay, let's go to the Launchpad and let's get our Google My Business connected, right? And they connect, they authorize, and off they go. So then when they come back into reputation, that is all filled with information that is real to them. And they're like, holy shit, right? So great. They'll even have, things like unanswered reviews, right? And the points that you just made in all the presentations is like, wow, you haven't responded to this. Now we're highlighting it. Now you can do it. And all the evidence that you've just gone through in the presentation is like, holy stuff, got to get this, right? So this is super sticky as a piece of functionality that can stand on its own 2 feet. There are companies that just do this. And you're showing them it's just one menu item out of a plethora of menu items in your system. So let's go back to the presentation and conclude. And whether or not you put a conclusion in or not, I don't care. But essentially, it seems like Google is making find places through reviews an actual feature, right? A really large number of people who are influential in this thing think the same thing, and there's a couple of people that are pretty vocal about it. So it's even more important than ever that you want to be focusing on reviews as a mission critical part of the business and focusing on voice of customer programs that drive advocacy through Google reviews. Right, so you need to be sure you're answering reviews, responding proactively to negative feedback, and taking control of your reputation. Encouraging people to leave reviews is going to be part of that. So, you get this as part of my system. It's one element in many things that we do, but this could be the biggest win that you make today. So if you haven't already signed up, go and sign up, get onto it. Pitch over. If you want this slide deck, there'll be a link below. Take it, brand it for your own purposes, change the language if you're in a different language other than English, and off you go. Good luck. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay frosty.